Echoes of the Forgotten Magic. Season 1, Whispers of Destiny, The Awakening. Episode 13, The Frostspire Peaks. The journey to the Frostspire Peaks takes Samba, Nari, and the Mentor through some of the harshest terrain they've encountered yet. The air grows colder with every step, and the once forested landscape gives way to jagged cliffs and steep inclines. The peaks, towering high above them, are covered in snow and ice, their sharp summits piercing the sky. The wind howls through the narrow passes, carrying with it the chill of ancient magic that lingers in the mountains. Samba feels the artifact pulsing faintly at his side, reacting to the powerful forces of nature around them. The peaks are known for their volatile magic, where the natural elements of earth, wind, and ice collide in unpredictable ways. It's the perfect place for the mages to stage their next ritual, using the raw power of the mountains to fuel their dark magic. Nari pulls her cloak tighter around her shoulders as they ascend the mountain path, her eyes scanning the terrain for any signs of danger. The cold doesn't seem to bother her, but even she can sense the tension in the air. Nari, grimly but focused. This place feels like it's alive. The magic in the air, it's stronger here than anywhere else we've been. The Mentor, walking just behind them, nods, his face lined with both concern and determination. Mentor, seriously. The Frostspire Peaks are a place of great power. The natural magic here is wild, untamed. The mages will use that instability to their advantage, but it also makes them vulnerable. If we can disrupt their control, the elements themselves could turn against them. Samba tightens his grip on the artifact, feeling the weight of their task. They've disrupted 3 rituals so far, but each one has been more difficult than the last. The mages have grown more desperate, and the final 2 sites will be their strongest yet. Samba, resolute. Then we'll use the mountains against them. If we can disrupt their control, we can stop them before they finish the ritual. The wind picks up as they climb higher, the path narrowing as it winds around the side of the mountain. The air grows thinner, and the cold bites at their skin. But the group presses on. They know they're getting closer. The artifact hums with energy, and the magic in the air feels thicker, almost tangible. As they round a sharp corner, the ritual site comes into view. Nestled in a narrow plateau between 2 towering peaks, the site is surrounded by jagged rocks and swirling snow. At the center of the plateau stands a massive stone altar, its surface etched with runes that glow faintly with dark magic. The mages are gathered around the altar, their voices raised in a chant that echoes through the mountains, blending with the howling wind. Nari, seriously. There they are. Looks like they're already deep into the ritual. Samba studies the site, his mind racing. The mages are using the natural magic of the mountains to fuel their ritual, drawing on the raw power of the elements to enhance their control. If they succeed, they'll gain control over the Frostspire Peaks, and the balance of magic will be tipped even further in their favor. Samba, urgently. We need to stop them before they finish. If they complete the ritual, they'll control the magic of the entire mountain range. The Mentor steps forward, his expression serious. Mentor, calm but firm. We need to sever their connection to the elements. The runes on the altar are feeding the ritual. If we disrupt them, the magic will collapse. Nari grips her blade, her eyes narrowing as she surveys the guards stationed around the altar. Unlike the previous sites, these guards are different, larger, more imposing, and clearly infused with the mountain's magic. Their bodies are covered in jagged ice, and their eyes glow with a cold blue light. Nari, grinning slightly. Looks like these guys are a bit tougher than what we've faced before. Good, I was getting bored. Samba feels the urgency of the situation weighing on him. They don't have time for a drawn-out battle. The mages are already close to completing the ritual, and every second counts. Samba, decisively. Nari, handle the guards. Mentor and I will focus on breaking the runes. With a nod, Nari charges forward, her blade flashing in the dim light as she engages the ice-covered guards. The ground trembles beneath their feet, and the wind howls louder as the magic of the mountains reacts to the battle. Samba and the mentor move quickly toward the altar, their eyes locked on the glowing runes. The mages, sensing their approach, raise their hands, sending waves of icy magic streaking through the air. Samba raises the artifact, creating a shield of blue light to deflect the attacks, but the force of the magic is overwhelming. Mentor, urgently. The magic here is stronger than anything we've faced before. We need to break the runes now. Samba channels the artifact's power, sending a blast of energy toward the altar. The blue light strikes one of the runes, causing it to flicker and fade, but the other runes remain intact, glowing brighter as the mages pour more power into the ritual. The wind picks up, and the temperature drops even further as the mages intensify their efforts. The ground beneath them shakes, and the jagged rocks around the plateau begin to shift, as if the mountain itself is reacting to the magic. Samba, shouting with determination, "We're running out of time!" With all his strength, Samba channels another surge of energy into the artifact, sending a concentrated blast toward the altar. The light strikes the remaining runes, causing them to flicker and dim. The mages cry out in fury as their connection to the mountain's magic begins to weaken. But the battle is far from over. The lead mage, standing at the center of the altar, raises their hands high, summoning the full force of the mountain's magic. The air around them crackles with energy, and a massive vortex of wind and ice begins to form above the plateau, swirling with destructive power. Mentor, urgently. Samba, we need to stop that vortex before it destroys everything. Samba feels the artifact pulsing in his hand, its power responding to the elemental forces swirling around them. This is their final chance to stop the mages before the ritual is completed, and the stakes have never been higher. The vortex of wind and ice above the altar grows larger with every passing second, swirling violently as the mages channel the mountain's raw power into their ritual. The air is thick with energy, and the ground trembles beneath Samba's feet as the magic of the Frostspire Peaks pushes against him. The lead mage, standing at the center of the altar, raises their hands higher, their voice merging with the howling wind as they command the elements. Mage leader, shouting, filled with dark energy. The power of the mountains will be ours. You cannot stop us. Samba stands firm, gripping the artifact tightly as its blue light flares in response to the overwhelming magic around them. He knows they're running out of time. The vortex is growing more unstable by the second, and if the mages succeed, they'll gain control over the elemental forces of the entire mountain range. Samba, determined but urgent. We have to disrupt the vortex before it destroys everything. The mentor moves beside him, his hands glowing with light as he prepares to counter the dark magic fueling the vortex. Mentor, seriously but calm. We need to break their control over the elements. If we can sever their connection, the mountain's magic will turn against them. Nari, locked in battle with the ice-infused guards, grins as she cuts through her enemies with precision. The wind whips around her, but she remains focused, her blade flashing as she strikes down the last of the guards. Nari, grinning, shouting over the wind. These guys were tough, but nothing we couldn't handle. Let's finish this. With the guards defeated, Samba and the mentor turn their full attention to the altar. The runes on the stone surface flicker and fade, their light dimming as the artifact's power disrupts the ritual. But the vortex above remains strong, fueled by the raw magic of the mountains. Samba channels the artifact's energy once more, focusing its power on the swirling vortex. The blue light pulses through the air, striking the center of the storm. The vortex shudders, its form destabilizing as the mages struggle to maintain control. Samba shouting with determination, "It's working! The vortex is weakening!" But the lead mage, sensing their defeat, lets out a furious cry and summons a final surge of dark magic. The ground beneath the altar cracks, and shards of ice and stone rise into the air, drawn into the swirling storm. The wind grows stronger, and the vortex begins to expand, threatening to consume the entire mountain. Mage leader, furious, shouting, "If we cannot have this power, then no one will." The mentor steps forward, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. Mentor, calmly but urgent. Samba, we need to focus all of the artifact's power on the vortex. If we don't stop it now, the mountain will tear itself apart. Samba takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of the artifact in his hand. The power surging through it is immense, but he knows that controlling it in this unstable environment is dangerous. Still, there's no other choice. The mages have pushed the ritual to its breaking point, and if they don't act now, the entire mountain range could be destroyed. With all his strength, Samba raises the artifact high, channeling its full power into the vortex. The blue light flares brightly, cutting through the storm as it strikes the heart of the swirling mass. The wind howls, and the ground shakes violently as the magic of the mountain clashes with the artifact's energy. The mages scream in fury as their control over the elements is ripped away. The vortex, now untethered from the ritual, begins to collapse in on itself. Shards of ice and rock fall from the sky, and the wind dies down as the magic dissipates, leaving the air still and silent. The lead mage, their power broken, collapses to the ground, their face twisted in defeat. Mage leader, weakly in disbelief. Impossible, all our plans ruined. Samba lowers the artifact, breathing heavily as the glow fades. The battle is over, and the ritual has been stopped, but the cost of the mage's ambition is evident in the shattered landscape around them. Nari, grinning, though exhausted. Well, that was a close one. You really know how to make things dramatic, huh? The mentor approaches, his expression one of quiet pride and relief. Mentor, softly but serious. You did well, Samba. We've stopped them here, but there's still one final site. The mages won't go down without a fight. Samba nods, knowing that the final confrontation is still ahead of them. They've won another battle, but the mage's ultimate goal remains, and the final ritual site will be the most dangerous yet. Samba, resolute. We'll stop them. We've come too far to fail now. As the group regathers their strength, the wind begins to calm, and the first rays of sunlight break through the clouds, illuminating the Frostspire Peaks. The balance of magic has been protected once again, but the final battle awaits. The aftermath of the battle at the Frostspire Peaks leaves the mountain in a state of eerie calm. The once swirling winds have died down, the ice-covered cliffs are still, and the raw magic of the peaks feels subdued. The group gathers at the edge of the plateau, taking in the sight of the shattered altar, the remnants of the mage's failed ritual still flickering faintly beneath the stone. The weight of the journey ahead looms heavily over them. Samba gazes out over the mountains, feeling the cold bite of the wind on his face. He tightens his grip on the artifact, knowing that this victory was only temporary. The mages have lost another site, but the final ritual is still within their reach, and it will be the most dangerous one yet. Samba, quietly but determined. We've stopped them here, but the final ritual site, it's going to be even worse. Nari approaches, wiping the last traces of ice and snow from her blade. Despite the exhaustion in her eyes, she wears her usual confident grin. Nari, grinning. That's what makes it fun, right? One last showdown. We'll take them down, just like we've done every time before. The mentor steps forward, his face calm but serious. His eyes scan the distant horizon, where the final ritual site lies waiting for them. His voice carries a quiet resolve, but there's an unmistakable urgency in his words. Mentor, thoughtfully. The final site is where the mages will make their last stand. They've poured all of their remaining power into it. If they complete the ritual there, they'll gain control over the balance of all magic, and the world as we know it will be forever changed. Samba feels the weight of the mentor's words, but he also feels the strength that comes from everything they've accomplished so far. They've stopped 4 rituals, each one more dangerous than the last. They've faced impossible odds and emerged stronger each time. But this final confrontation will test them like never before. Samba, resolutely. We'll stop them. We've come too far to let them win now. Nari gives him a firm nod, her confidence unwavering. Nari, smirking, determined. Damn right we will. This is the final round, and I'm ready to end it. The mentor pulls out the ancient map, unfolding it carefully as he traces the path to the final ritual site. His expression is somber, but his determination is clear. Daughter mentor, seriously. The final site is in the Valley of Whispers, an ancient place where the magic of the world converges. The mages will use that power to complete their ritual, but the valley's magic is unstable. If we can disrupt their control, we can turn the magic of the valley against them. The Valley of Whispers is a place of legend, an ancient, forbidden land where magic flows more freely than anywhere else in the world. It's a place of immense power, but also immense danger. The mages will be prepared, and the final battle will push them to their limits. Samba looks at the path ahead, feeling the familiar pulse of the artifact at his side. The journey has been long, but it's all been leading to this moment. Samba, quietly but determined. Then that's where we go next. We finish this. The mentor folds the map and looks at them both, his voice filled with quiet pride. Mentor, softly. You've both come so far. The final battle will be the most dangerous, but I have no doubt that together we will succeed. The balance of magic depends on us. As the group begins their descent from the Frostspire Peaks, the cold wind at their backs, there's a shared understanding that the end is near. The Valley of Whispers awaits them, a place of ancient power, where the fate of the world will be decided. With every step they take, they draw closer to the final confrontation, where the mages will make their last desperate attempt to gain control over all magic. And Samba knows that when the time comes, they will be ready.